चलता है कि नहीं चलता है?
Hello and welcome to our Headlines Today special. I'm Gaurav Sawant and with me is Anupam Kapil. He's an astrologer, he's a writer, he's a columnist, and we're talking about the biggest celestial event of a lifetime. Hundreds and thousands of people will be watching the solar eclipse tomorrow. A sea of humanity will be at religious places. Now, as this cosmic shadow plays its dance in the skies, the whole of the nation will be glued to this celestial blockbuster. Will it have an effect on your lives? On Sun and Stars, our special with Anupam Kapil, we'll talk about the impact on your lives. He's going to tell you what this solar eclipse means for you. Why is this solar eclipse so special? It was said last time you had a solar eclipse of this magnitude, the Mahabharata was fought. So what will happen this time, Anupam?
You're right, Gaurav. The last time this has happened, it was a 13th day. This is the speciality of this eclipse, and it is known as Grasodit. When the rising sun is eclipsed, it is known as Grasodit. And the great sage Varamira, the great astronomer, has said that a drought-like situation and even rainfalls are affected when these kind of eclipses take place. Okay. And Jayadratha was killed during the last Mahabharata, and there are reference to planetary positions of such an eclipse. Okay. You know that I don't find there's much reason to fear though. Okay. I look at it as a very wonderful time for those into wanting to attain siddhis or those on the spiritual path. And last time in the 1800s, okay, a total eclipse which took place, which was this long, helium was discovered. And after that, there was a subsequent total eclipse during which the laws of gravity, laws of relativity of Einstein were tested, that gravity bends light. And
right. So you've made a very important point. There's nothing to be scared of for scientists. It's a great time. There's so much to go out and discover. There is absolutely no reason to fear this eclipse. But should you be careful about some things? Let's find out what this means for your sun sign, if your sun sign is Aries. Tell us about Aries.
Yeah, for Aries it's a good time, though there I see some mental depression of some time, though everything would be going well for you, Aries, but you need to be careful that your expenditures would increase next November, because this takes about 6 months time for the eclipse effect to last. So after November the things are going to improve, but with an increased problem on the health front. That is where you should be careful about. Nothing to worry on the career front though. And for lovers it's going to be good, but August to October you have to be careful. See that you don't unnecessarily quarrel with your lovers.
Okay, which anyway is good through the year. Don't quarrel. What about Taurus? What does this mean for Taurians?
Yeah, for Taurus it's a time of struggle of a few months, as I can see. But after September 10th, Saturn would be changing, and that would bring in much relief. And I see a consolidation of career. As far as wealth is concerned, it's a little difficult time for the finances. And those trying to invest in the stock market, I would say 20th August to 20th September could be a better time. So this is what if you are trying to make any financial decisions during the eclipse time, especially this week, I would ask you to refrain from doing so.
Okay, Gemini?
Yeah, for Gemini, what one sees is an increase in expenditure. And for wealth, if you are planning to give money to someone or lend money, do not do it, because that money is not going to come back. And those people who are wanting to make wills and legacies, I see some kind of problem happening. So you try to delay this by some time. And July and September are the sensitive months on the health front for you. Take care. And after November and December, the stars change for your better.
Right. Up next after Gemini is Cancer.
Yeah, this sign I would like to warn specially, because this eclipse is taking place in the sign of Cancer itself. It's going to be a mixed period. This particular 2 months are going to be slightly tense, but you have reason to rejoice after December. And in this career point of view, if you're trying to make any job changes, I would ask you to refrain from doing so. Health problems are definitely likely, especially mental disorders. If you're trying to go in for any surgeries or those taking chronic treatment, they should be very careful about this.
Sorry, go on. You were telling about...
If you have any elder siblings, brothers or sisters, their health could get affected. Overall, I think cancer needs major remedies, and I would advise you to worship Lord Shiva and chant the Mahamrityunjay mantra. That would bring you quite a lot of relief.
So this Mahamrityunjay mantra that you're talking about, is this only for cancer, or will this hold good for all sun signs?
See, generally the Mahamrityunjay mantra is best for all the signs, because the worship of Lord Shiva, and it is not commonly, as it is believed, only a mantra to when you're approaching death or sickness. It gives good fortune also. Right. I mean, you pray to Lord Shiva, invoking him to cut the bondage and liberate you not only from the bondages of this life but also of the next life.
Right. So, I mean, in a way that this tells you how to be a better person, a better human being.
Right.
That is exactly what we're talking about. Let's also talk about Leo. What does this mean for those whose sun sign is Leo?
For Leons, I mean, their stuck-up work will start getting cleared after the second week of September. And I see better times coming for them, especially after December. Next year is going to be a very good time for them. Promotions. I think you should wait for some time rather than getting stressed out. And you should definitely stay away from the stock market till 30th of July. That is what I would like to advise them. And expenditures on health, especially visits to the hospitals, either for your own reason or for your loved ones, are also indicated.
Now, something like a solar eclipse, how can this impact the stock market? There are people who are scared, they're scared to invest or even withdraw money at this stage. So
right.
How does this affect the stock market?
That I wouldn't know, but there's enough research being done on this, and there is a kind of research which was published, which I had also read about in the Time magazine.
Okay.
And that was done by a stockbroker, incidentally.
Okay.
And he had observed this thing not only with solar eclipse but with the full moon. That article was on full moon. Solar eclipses definitely have a bearing on the financial conditions.
Okay.
And I would definitely ask not only Leons but others also to be careful, because the stock market is likely to fluctuate this week.
Right. Up next, we talk about Virgo.
Yes, for Virgons, I mean, this is a very kind of defining moment, because those of you who are number one now, for many people like Kareena Kapoor, for example, she's doing very well in her career. It's going to be a matter of making the right choice, and there might be some relationship where you will there's some people in your life you will have to make a choice, conscious choice of allowing things to move on, and that's going to be a difficult decision, but you have to take that decision. Your family's health has been of little concern of late, and you must address those issues. For love and relationships which have been under strain, they're going to be cordial after November. Don't get into any kind of differences of opinion and any kind of violent exchange of words.
Okay, so you have to be careful about your career. Tell me something, this is just about what, 4 minutes of solar eclipse. How can this affect somebody's life?
It's just not 4 minutes of total solar eclipse, because the way the period which becomes sensitive is actually 6-7 hours before the eclipse.
Okay.
The totality, you're talking about the totality of the eclipse, which is going to last for 4 to 5 minutes.
Okay. So how does this affect a sun sign? Why should this affect my life? I mean, whatever be my sun sign, how will planetary movement or you know, moon coming in front of sun affect my life?
You see, the sun in the Hindu tradition is supposed to be, everybody prays to the sun. The sun is the sustainer of life. It is light. If the sunrise is delayed by some minutes,
right,
there could be, if the sun stops or doesn't rise on one day or for a few minutes, a lot of things take place. So when the rising sun is eclipsed, I mean, there are natural phenomena which take place, weather changes take place. It has also been, there's been a research done by Plague and Gibman,
okay,
which says that tectonic, there's a pressure on the tectonic plates due to geomagnetic storms being caused on the earth, and an increased activity on the solar activity. Solar flares increase on the sun.
So now, there are chances of an earthquake.
It's not only, yes, absolutely, but in the signs where now this eclipse is taking place in the 4th sign, right, in the sign of Cancer. So countries which are ruled by Aries, they will have a lot of problem.
Which would be countries like?
We'll see that.
Okay.
I was not prepared for the question.
In a moment, but let's talk about Libra up next.
Yeah, for Librans, professionally times are going to look up, but for the moment you should be a little patient now. That is what I would tell you. A lot of hidden expenditures would come up. Don't be surprised with it. And some of you who are wanting to, you might also think of putting your kids in an expensive school. Go ahead and do it. And for family and happiness, its family life is going to be satisfactory only after November. Have little patience because Rahu would change and that would be better for you. October is a tense month for those in romance and love. So just take care during that time.
So tomorrow morning, you know, there are many who say people shouldn't step out of their homes, or you know, don't expose yourself to the sun, or don't let children get out. Is there a scientific reason behind it, or is this just fear that's been instilled over generations?
I think you have answered your question. Summarizes the answer also, because over a period of time, when you see the British chroniclers when India had not got its independence, have written extensively about the solar eclipses, and they have said that they have written in their chronicles that people were so frightened, and the Chinese also, it's not only about India, so many countries all over the world, they used to believe that the dragon swallows the sun, you know, and they used to beat drums and make loud noises. In fact, a few years back, the Chinese Navy fired some missiles and made sounds, you know, during the solar eclipse. So there's nothing to get worried about. I'm sure, Gaurav, in 1980s, there was a major solar eclipse, and you must have been young that time. People used to, I remember everybody used to put the curtains on and tell people, don't look at an eclipse. I feel it's a golden time for those who are into introspection, spiritual and metaphysical subjects. It's a opportunity of a lifetime, and people should not waste their time in superstition. Either they go and explore the scientific part of it, or they go into learning new mantras and reciting it, because mantras which are recited during this time, they become perfected. Siddha means perfected, and you are able to command the energy, because the atmospheric conditions are very, very specifically altered during that particular time.
Okay. So before we take a break, let's also talk about Scorpio. What does this mean for people whose sun sign is Scorpio? What should or what shouldn't they do?
See, for Scorpions, it's a good news that the cash flows will improve, but there might be some health problems for someone in the family. They need to attend to it professionally, and there will be good news on the family front, though. Gains or success to somebody in the family, that is definitely indicated. October, December and Jan, these are the 3 months which you have to watch out, which are sensitive months. Don't overtax yourself. And again, I would say that if you could do chanting of the Mahamrityunjay mantra, that would be good.
Okay, you've emphasized on the Mahamrityunjay mantra.
Would you want me to say that mantra for the benefit
impact,
of the...
Sure.
Om Trayambakam Yajamehe Sugandhi Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Eva Bandhanam Mruttir Moksham Mamritat. This, as I told you, the summary of this mantra is the Lord Shiva, who has the 3 virtues of Amba, Lakshmi and Shiva. You deliver us from the sins and give us the strength. Urvarukam Miva means the big and mighty and powerful, and overpowering the deadly diseases of ignorance, asat, falsehood, and getting one out from the cycle of this birth and the next birth, and it ends with Mamritat. Give me the Amrit, which makes me immortal.
Right. Up next, we'll talk about Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius and Pisces. What does this solar eclipse mean for all these sun signs? Also, what does this mean for celebrities? Stay here with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
An audacious attack that shook the nation. For 60 days, the men in olive battled on icy peaks against grave odds. Headlines today's Gaurav Savant covered the war from the front line. 10 years on, he returns to see if India has learnt its lessons, because we cannot forget Kargil. Special coverage all through the day on July 26th, only on Headlines Today.
ये क्या किया आपने?
चिल, रिपेयर हो जाएगा।
मेरी माँ को फोटोसिंथेसिस है। इलाज के पैसे नहीं, इसका रिपेयर।
अच्छा, यू टेक दिस।
ये लैपटॉप है, टाइपराइटर नहीं।
टेक ऑल्सो दिस।
थैंक यू सर। माँ
Works even after a fall. 3D drive guard in compact CPQ 610 UT notebook PC powered by Intel Core 2 Duo processor. Get going.
मेरे पेरेंट्स तो मुझ पर फर्स्ट आने के लिए इतना प्रेशर डालते हैं कि झेलना मुश्किल हो जाता है।
क्या माँ बाप बच्चों को अपनी मर्जी से जीने देंगे?
एक
1 लीटर राग गोल्ड पामोलिन तेल सिर्फ 36 रुपए, पार्ले जी और पार्ले मारी बिस्किट कॉम्बी सिर्फ 32 रुपए। सबसे कम दाम में ज्यादा राशन 18 से 26 जुलाई सिर्फ बिग बाजार में।
आज रात 10 बजे स्टार 1 पर।
जो कहे दिन तो मुझे लगे रात, बोलो अब कैसी है ये शुरुआत।
जिनके अलग हो रास्ते वो कैसे चले साथ साथ, दोनों है अलग अलग
मंजिल अपनी जुदा जुदा, रब का मिलाया जो हमको तो रब ही मिलाए रास्ता।
हम दोनों हैं अलग अलग। आज रात 10 बजे स्टार 1 पर।
As the lunar shadow casts its spell over India, the nation will witness the solar spectacle of a lifetime. Headlines today, reporters will track every bit of the action spread across the length and breadth of India. From the port city of Surat in the west to the icy heights of Tawang on the east. From holy dips in Varanasi to special prayers in Haridwar. And if that's not good enough, we'll even track the eclipse from 41,000 feet in the air. To get you the very best and the very latest. Unparalleled reportage during an unparalleled eclipse. Only on Headlines Today.
Welcome back. We're talking about what solar eclipse means for you and I. What does this mean for your life, your sun sign? What does this mean for our country as a whole? Now, Anupam, it's also being said this solar eclipse covers India quite extensively.
Right.
What does this mean for the country?
See, it's going from the west coast of India, and it's going to be crossing the
all the way from Kutch to
Varanasi
Kamrup.
and
Yeah.
yes, Kamrup.
Yeah.
So these places will be affected for India. Naxalite and Maoist kind of activities are going to be on the rise. The third house is where this eclipse is taking place. India is a Taurus ascendant, and the third house rules over railways, communications. There, I expect some problem on this, some problem to Mamta Banerjee also.
Okay.
Her ministry is the one which is going to be under a lot of pressure in the times to come.
Okay.
A new chapter of change starts for India from 15 September as the Dasha is also getting over. And I see the government and people, we were talking about not being negative, but I can't help, Gaurav.
Okay.
There is a little bit of time where Indian government and people have to suffer. And this is fortunately not very long-lived.
What is this period?
See, the recession, we are all faced with a big recession issue now.
Okay.
And the Prime Minister is very optimistic about the recession going off very soon and touching 9% growth rates and all. I don't see that happening too soon. It's going to be 2010, which is going to be the year of recovery.
Okay.
Real estate will pick up. There's some positive news for you. And gold will start looking up for those who want to invest from next year, though.
Okay. Let's talk about Sagittarius now.
Yeah, for Sagittarius, a lot of mixed influences happening for Sagittarius. Hidden mischief is very much possible, so beware of your people who claim to be your well-wishers or somebody new who you have met right now. Don't confide everything, because you are very frank and outspoken, and just spill out your heart to anybody who you meet, even for the first time. Wealth and cash flows will definitely improve after 10th of September. It's a good period for you. I must here add a note of caution on the family health problem. Your father's health could need a little bit of attention. And next 4 months, they're going to be slightly rough. But once you're over this patch, it's going to be a pretty much decent year in terms of promotion. And I think you should wait if you're trying to make that job switch or taking major business investment decisions. Wait for another 4 months.
Okay, so that's for Sagittarius. And what about Capris? What about Capricorn?
Yeah. Now, Cancer and Capricorn are the signs, because Capricorn is the exact opposite of Cancer. This sign is also going to be pretty much affected. The major things which decisions which one wants to take should be postponed for 2 months, and especially in this week, if you're happening anything major to do, I would just ask you and advise you to stay away from this. Some losses are possible, either by cash or a rush of blood leading you to do some speculative kind of stuff if you're into the stock market. So those in the stock market, don't take any chances. That's, however, this thing for all the signs, what I'm saying about the stock market.
So this perhaps is a period where you should perhaps sit back, rethink and then take a decision. Don't rush into anything.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and Capricorns need to be careful of their partner's health too, especially till the 24th. Rest is fine, and yes, a little bit be careful of new women coming into your life. There is some problem seen through some lady or some problem to the lady.
Okay, okay. Let's now talk about some of the celebrities. We're very keen to know what's happening in their lives. Whatever happens to them also affects us in a way, since we're so fond of them, since we think that they're so much a part of our lives. Let's start by talking about Amitabh Bachchan.
Yes, Amitabh Bachchan is Tula Rashi, and you see, everybody has always asked about him. On 2 or 3 occasions in the past, I have predicted about ill health a year in advance when everything was okay. He is a master number 11, and his Sadesati would be starting after the 10th of September.
Okay.
Somebody's health in the family could be a matter of concern for him. He'll get good offers even in this year.
Okay.
But that is the tricky part. He has to be very selective in what kind of roles he should take, which should not tax him, because I see again the health problems are going to return to disturb him.
Okay, we've talked about the Shehenshah. Let's now talk about the Badshah, SRK.
For SRK, this particular eclipse, he's also incidentally a number 2, you would like to know. Amitabh and they both are 11. Shah Rukh Khan is 11 in his name. His first name adds up to 29. For the Badshah, he must again be cautious of health, especially till October 2011, because as you would say, it's very this Makar Rashi. He's also Capricorn. The eclipse is taking place in the house opposite to his this thing. Domestically, he could get upset for some reason, but the career moves on.
Okay. Now, what about Aishwarya Rai? Again, someone we're all very curious to know about what's happening with Aishwarya.
Aishwarya she's got very good stars. In fact, she's a number 1, a fate number 1 in numerology, makes a person go very high in life, and she's leading the roost for quite a long time. This year, she's also running through her personal year vibration of 5, which vibrates with a destiny number 5.
Okay.
And now let's talk about the eclipse effect specifically. She's a Dhanu Rashi, not much of effect, just prone to stomach and digestive disorders. She must be, and father's health, of course. Last year also there was some problem to the father's health, and this time also she needs to be careful on that account. And I would say for the news, everybody would probably, I can read it in your eyes, it's a good time to have a baby in 2010.
It's between Aishwarya and Abhishek, but what about Abhishek?
Yeah, now Abhishek, fortunately, now he's on the sidelines after this marriage. We've not seen him in a major way, but I see the coming years very, very eventful for him. The eclipse effective is going to be on his father, who may have some ill health, which is reflected in his birth chart. But 2010 and 2011, I see very extraordinary good offers coming to him, and I see him doing well.
Excellent. That's
for a long time.
That's good news. What about the sun sign Aquarius? What happens to them?
Yeah, let's go back to Aquarius.
Sure.
Yes, a little bit of struggle till November.
Okay.
And later on the career starts moving up, heavy expenditures. Health is going to be adversely affected due to the eclipse, and love and relationships will be good till September. But after October, if you're getting into new relationships, I must warn you that you're going to have rough times. Not the best of times to get into new relationships. Cash flows are going to improve. If you want to make investments, just hold on for a couple of months. And this is a time to get your unresolved problems solved right now, not to begin new kind of ventures.
Okay.
For the moment now.
Okay. And the sun sign we haven't spoken about so far. What about Pisces?
Yeah, Pisces is a watery sign, and this eclipse is in a watery sign of Cancer. Judgment will improve, Gaurav.
Outstanding.
But the thing is that you might tend to become very aggressive. Overconfidence is certainly not a good virtue.
No.
And such decisions, you may take such decisions which can affect your professional life. So there's no kind of external influence which is going to come and disturb your forecast or whatever.
Okay.
It's impulsive rush of blood which may make you do hasty things. That's the only thing. And I would suggest you to wear pinks. All Pisces, you should wear the pinks. Avoid wearing dark blues and grey colors.
Okay.
And in spite of your expenses going above, and they're threatening to go haywire. I would say that try to be a little conservative in spending.
Okay, so Pisces, spend a little less, sit back, enjoy. Before we go, let's talk a little about Sonia Gandhi. What would this solar eclipse and the year that lies ahead, what does it mean for her?
Yeah, for Sonia Gandhi, the eclipse effect is, though she is going through a personal year number of 5, which is good, a lot of expansion. Related to her
they've come
political,
back to power.
Yeah, they've come. I had predicted this on your show last year, not even this year, that this is going to be the year of. There seems to be some problem on the family front and some trouble through some loved one in the family. And health-wise, she has to take care because she is the eclipse is taking place in her ascendant, which is also Cancer.
Okay, so, and the Yuvraj of the Congress party, Rahul.
I must tell you, he's got an extraordinary date of birth, 19 number which he is born on. As per the Kabbalah, 19 is known as the Prince of the Heaven, and he's a Scorpio Rashi, 2010. Again, another, a lot of people are interested in knowing what is going to happen to his personal life. Marriage could be on the cards for Rahul if he's interested in, and some controversy due to misinterpretation of communication or some kind of sorts is bound to happen. He must not trust people close to him so much, that is, and confide so much. That is what I would advise him to.
Okay, but overall what you're saying is, one, there is nothing to fear. It's a great time to go and have Siddhi if that is what you're looking for. It's a great time for scientists. It's a great time to go and see that eclipse and just do what you feel like doing. Don't be scared of this eclipse. That's what Anupam's been saying all along. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. We need to slip into a break, but news and updates continue on Headlines Today. Stay with us.